December 17th, 2025, 3:47 a.m. local time, Western Crimea. A video goes viral. Massive underground explosion. Iskander missile bunkers collapsing. Chain reactions ripping through storage tunnels. One claim, Ukraine just erased one-third of Russia's entire missile stockpile in a single strike. Within 6 hours, 4 million views. Defense Twitter erupts. Reddit military forums explode. OSINT analysts scramble to verify. 48 hours later, complete silence. No satellite confirms it. No intelligence agency reports it. Ukrainian command says nothing. The evidence? It doesn't exist. But while the world chased a ghost story, the real war in Crimea was already burning. December 13th, 2025. The video drops on YouTube. Narrator describes precision strike, underground Iskander storage complex, secondary explosions cascading like dominoes, crater visible from orbit. The production value is impressive, almost Hollywood level, but military intelligence doesn't work on production value. Cross-reference against verified sources, Reuters, nothing. Al Jazeera, nothing. BBC, Institute for the Study of War, Ukrainian General Staff official channels, all silent. Here's what should have happened if this was real. If Ukraine actually destroyed 30% of Russia's Iskander arsenal, NATO defense ministers would be in emergency sessions. The UN Security Council would convene. Russia would be issuing nuclear threats. Global oil markets would spike. Every major intelligence service would be releasing satellite imagery within hours. Instead, crickets. This wasn't intelligence, it was fiction dressed as battlefield reporting. War entertainment for engagement metrics. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. While millions watched fake explosions, real Ukrainian drones were already over Crimea, and what they hit was far more strategic than any bunker. October 6, 2025, Feodosia oil terminal, occupied Crimea. Ukrainian drones hit at 4:22 a.m. Not rumor, not speculation. Ukrainian General Staff confirms. Satellite imagery shows fires consuming 40% of the facility. 3 storage tanks destroyed. Refined fuel capacity cut by half. November 7, 2025, SSO operators launch coordinated strike, multiple oil depots, fuel trains deep inside occupied territory. Ukrainian Special Operations Forces post real-time battle damage assessment on official Telegram. Before and after thermal imaging. GPS coordinates, timestamps. These aren't propaganda videos. These are verified military operations. And here's why this matters more than any fictional bunker explosion. Modern mechanized warfare runs on one thing: fuel. Russian tanks burn 200 gallons of diesel per 100 miles. Su-35 fighters consume 16,000 pounds of jet fuel per hour of combat operations. Mobile Iskander launchers need constant refueling to maintain operational mobility. Cut the fuel. You don't just damage logistics, you paralyze the entire operational tempo. Every oil terminal Ukraine destroys forces Russia to reroute supplies through longer, more vulnerable corridors. Every depot burning creates cascading bottlenecks across the entire southern logistics network. But the strategic effect goes deeper. Crimea isn't just occupied territory, it's Russia's forward operating base for the entire Black Sea theater. Missile launch sites, naval coordination centers, supply hubs feeding frontline units across 400 kilometers of contested territory. When Ukrainian drones hit fuel infrastructure in Crimea, they're not creating viral content. They're performing strategic amputation, and Moscow knows it. Russian forces stationed across the peninsula now operate under one terrifying reality. Nowhere is safe. No depot is beyond Ukrainian range. No facility is truly secure. The psychological fracture is spreading. So why did that viral claim about Iskander bunkers spread so fast? Because the Iskander represents Russia's most credible precision strike threat, the 9K-720 Iskander-M theater ballistic missile system. Terminal velocity approaching Mach 7. Maneuvers during final approach to evade interception. Even Patriot batteries struggle to achieve reliable kills. 2 variants in active deployment. Iskander-M fires ballistic missiles. 500-kilometer range, high explosive or cluster munitions, designed to devastate hardened targets or saturate area defenses. Iskander-K launches cruise missiles, low-altitude flight profiles, terrain-following navigation, built to slip under radar coverage and strike without warning. Throughout 2025, Russia has fired dozens from Crimean launch sites. Ukrainian air defense intercepts some, but many get through. From Crimea, Russian Iskander units can hit Kyiv, Dnipro, Odessa, Kharkiv, every major Ukrainian city within 8 minutes of launch. So the viral claim about destroying Iskander stockpiles was strategically seductive. If true, it would represent catastrophic degradation of Russia's precision strike capability. Iskander missiles cost $3 million each. Complex guidance systems, limited production under sanctions, not easily replaced. Destroying a major stockpile would cripple Russian strike operations for 6 months minimum. But that's exactly why such a strike would be impossible to hide. Intelligence satellites monitor Iskander deployments constantly, every launcher movement tracked. every firing position cataloged. Commercial satellite companies like Maxar and Planet Labs image Crimea daily. A strike destroying dozens of Iskanders would create massive thermal signatures, seismic readings, and crater patterns visible from orbit. None of that evidence exists. So if the viral strike was fiction, why does the Iskander threat still matter? Because the real missile war isn't cinematic, it's grinding attrition. December 6, 2025, Ukrainian Air Defense Command reports another wave. 32 Russian drones, 11 missiles. Mix of Iskanders, Kh-101 cruise missiles, and Iranian Shahed 136 drones. Targeting power infrastructure across 3 oblasts. Ukrainian forces intercept 28 drones and 7 missiles. That sounds like success. But here's the strategic math Russia is playing. Each Shahed drone costs $20,000. Each Ukrainian interceptor missile costs $500,000 to $4 million, depending on the system. Russia isn't trying to win with precision. They're trying to bankrupt Ukrainian air defense through volume, launch cheap drones to exhaust expensive interceptors, create gaps in coverage, then send the real threats through Iskanders, Kalibr cruise missiles, hypersonic Kinzhals. And it's working. Every Iskander Russia fires from Crimea depletes their stockpile, but every Ukrainian interceptor fired depletes Western supplies even faster. This is the real war, a race to see who runs out of ammunition first. Now connect this back to those oil depot strikes. Those facilities weren't just storing fuel for trucks. They were supplying the logistics infrastructure that keeps mobile Iskander launchers operational. Without fuel, launchers can't relocate after firing. Without mobility, they become predictable, stationary, and vulnerable to counter-battery targeting. Ukraine isn't hunting Iskander bunkers with Hollywood explosions. They're slowly strangling the supply network that keeps Iskanders mobile, supplied, and operational. It's less dramatic than viral videos, but strategically, it's far more effective. Let's talk about what's really changing warfare. Ukraine doesn't have B-2 stealth bombers. They don't have Tomahawk cruise missiles. What they have is something potentially more dangerous. Domestically produced long-range strike drones, not the small quadcopters dropping grenades. Fixed-wing UAVs flying 500-plus kilometers deep into enemy territory, carrying 50-kilogram warheads, striking with meter-level precision, and they're rewriting the rules. Traditional air defense is built to stop fast threats. Fighter jets at Mach 2, ballistic missiles at Mach 6, drones fly at 120 kilometers per hour. Too slow to prioritize, too small to reliably track, too cheap to justify expensive interceptors. They loiter for hours waiting for optimal strike windows. They're producible at scale, which means losing 5 drones to air defense doesn't stop the mission. And they're increasingly hard to distinguish from civilian aviation on radar. For Ukraine, this capability transformed Crimea from untouchable Russian fortress into vulnerable battle space. Every successful drone strike proves one thing: Russia cannot secure its logistics network even 300 kilometers behind the front line. But here's the darker implication. What Ukraine is demonstrating in Crimea right now will be replicated. Smaller nations, non-state actors, proxy forces. The technology is proliferating faster than defense systems can adapt. Long-range precision strike capability used to require billion-dollar military infrastructure. Now it requires a workshop, some engineers, and access to commercial electronics. That genie isn't going back in the bottle, so why did that viral Iskander strike spread faster than the truth? Because in modern war, narrative moves faster than verification. Social media algorithms reward engagement, not accuracy. A dramatic story showing your side winning decisively gets shared before anyone checks sources. Defense influencers race to be first, not correct. Both sides weaponize this. Russia exaggerates intercept rates, Ukraine amplifies successful strikes, and third-party content creators manufacture drama for views. But viral misinformation doesn't just mislead YouTube audiences, it distorts strategic analysis. If Western intelligence believes Ukraine destroyed 30% of Russia's Iskander stockpile, they underestimate remaining missile threats. If military planners make decisions based on fictional strikes, real vulnerabilities get missed. Verification isn't pedantic, it's operational. Knowing what actually got hit in Crimea, what Russian capabilities remain intact, what logistics nodes are truly degraded, that's how you make decisions that save lives. The uncomfortable truth: real war is less cinematic than viral content. It's about fuel bottlenecks, not stadium craters, logistics degradation, not Hollywood explosions. But understanding the unglamorous real war is how you predict what happens next. December 17th, 2025. Crimea remains occupied. Russia still launches missiles from its territory. Ukraine still finds ways to strike back. The viral Iskander bunker story was fiction, but the verified oil terminal strikes, the ongoing drone campaign, the strategic pressure on Russian fuel logistics, all devastatingly real. This war isn't being decided by single catastrophic blows. It's being shaped by incremental degradation, tactical adaptation under impossible constraints, innovation born from desperation. Crimea was supposed to be Russia's untouchable fortress. Now it's contested battle space where billion-dollar billion air defense systems struggle to stop $50,000 drones. For Russia, every Ukrainian strike adds friction. Fuel routes get longer, supply chains get more fragile, air defense gets spread thinner. For Ukraine, every successful strike proves the fortress has cracks. For the rest of the world, this is the preview. Asymmetric warfare, drone proliferation, information operations moving faster than intelligence analysis. What's being pioneered in Crimea right now will define conflicts for the next 20 years. As satellites continue monitoring the peninsula, as drones continue penetrating deeper, as both sides adapt to 21st century combined arms warfare, one truth becomes undeniable. The fortress isn't untouchable anymore. What happens next won't be decided by viral videos or dramatic claims. It'll be decided by fuel logistics, supply resilience, and calculated risks both sides are willing to accept. The story isn't over. The smoke is still rising over Crimea, and the world is watching to see what burns next.